We know you're a big Leaf fan, Justin. When you saw that 12 lottery ball pop up on the screen and Sundin's face, walk us through how you felt.
Man, it's hard to put in words, honestly. Being here it's a dream, bro, and I know this guy's gonna kill it.
Will you be at some games in his jersey?
Absolutely.
We'll hold you to that. Maybe you'll be in a feature coming up.
Hopefully.
There are love stories, and then there are love triangles so knotted, so historically charged, that no amount of time, marriage, or baby announcements can fully dissolve them from public consciousness. The one involving Justin Bieber, Hailey Bieber, and Selena Gomez is exactly that kind of story, and just when the world thought the final chapter had been written, a new revelation is threatening to blow the entire narrative wide open. Because according to sources close to Justin Bieber, the arrival of baby Jack Blues Bieber did far more than bring a new life into the world. It may have been the single event that kept one of music's most tortured love triangles from reigniting entirely. The claim circulating among insiders is as explosive as it is heartbreaking. Hailey's pregnancy didn't just give Justin a child. It gave him a reason to stop looking backward. To understand the weight of that statement, you have to understand where Justin Bieber's head was in the months leading up to the pregnancy announcement in May 2024. This was a man who, by all visible accounts, was unraveling. His Instagram had become a stream of cryptic, emotionally raw posts that had fans and tabloids alike dissecting every word. There were reports of tension in his marriage, whispers that he had been pulling away from Hailey, and a general sense that the golden boy turned troubled artist was somewhere very dark internally. Then came Selena Gomez's album, and everything got more complicated. Selena's track, How Does It Feel to Be Forgotten, landed like a grenade in the pop culture conversation, with lyrics so pointed, so surgically aimed, that even casual listeners immediately connected them to her decade-long on-again, off-again saga with Justin. Lines dripping with the kind of exhausted fury that only comes from someone who has genuinely loved someone who repeatedly let them down. An anonymous insider told Radar Online that the song devastated Justin at a moment when he was already fragile, claiming that his emotional state visibly deteriorated in the weeks after its release. The insider described him as someone who had been hurting deeply for a long time, and whose spiral seemed to intensify once Selena's music hit. Whether Justin ever reached out to Selena in those months, no one has confirmed. But those close to him suggest the gravitational pull of that old love was stronger than it had been in years. Here is where the story becomes almost impossible to look away from, because it was right in the middle of that emotional chaos, right when Justin appeared most untethered, that Hailey made the announcement that changed everything. The pregnancy was not planned. Hailey herself revealed on the SheMD podcast in March 2026 that she had actually been warned by her own OBGYN that getting pregnant could be an issue due to a uterine septum, a genetic condition that places the pregnancy at higher risk for miscarriage. Her doctor had told her to monitor the condition before even considering children. Hailey's response at the time had been casual, unbothered, certain the conversation could wait. And then, in her own words, she magically got pregnant. No preparation. No perfectly timed plan. Just life intervening in the way it sometimes does, loud and unannounced. For Justin, sources say the news functioned like an anchor dropped into churning water. Suddenly the abstract question of what his life was supposed to look like had a very concrete, very real answer. He was going to be a father. The man who had spent years oscillating between faith and fracture, between public breakdowns and brief moments of apparent peace, now had something that demanded his full presence. Not his past, not his regrets, not the ghost of a relationship that had defined his early adulthood. A child. His child. The Yelena fanbase, which has never truly accepted the permanence of that breakup, has been sending the internet into a spiral of its own, ever since the insider claims began making rounds. And the fuel they are working with is not nothing. Selena Gomez married Benny Blanco in what sources described as an intimate and deeply joyful ceremony, and by all accounts she is flourishing. Her rare beauty empire continues to dominate. Her music is being celebrated as some of the most emotionally honest work of her career. She appears, by every available measure, to have arrived somewhere peaceful. But even that peace has not stopped the speculation. Selena's cousin Priscilla De Leon felt compelled to publicly plead with fans to stop dragging Selena's name back into the Bieber narrative, deleting the comment shortly after posting it, but not before it had been screenshotted and reshared 10,000 times. The fact that such a comment was necessary at all says everything about how alive this story still feels to the people closest to it. Justin, for his part, has been more publicly present since Jack's birth than he had been in years. He brought Hailey and their son to Coachella 2026 for his headline performance, a moment that read to many as a man finally stepping back into his own light. He looked stable. He looked grounded. He looked, for the first time in what felt like a very long time, like someone who had found something worth protecting. Whether that transformation is entirely down to fatherhood, or whether it represents a more complicated reckoning that has been happening quietly behind the scenes, no one outside his inner circle truly knows. But the question that the internet refuses to stop asking is the one that hangs over all of it. If the pregnancy had not happened, if that one unplanned, medically complicated, miraculous piece of timing had gone differently, would Justin have found his way back to Selena? Would he have tried? Would she have answered? The answer, if it exists anywhere, lives in the silence between his cryptic posts and her meticulously crafted lyrics, in the deleted comments and the unnamed insiders and the careful distance both of them have maintained from a question neither seems willing to answer directly. What is certain is that Jack Blues Bieber arrived at a moment that needed him. And some people in Justin's life believe, quietly and without ever saying it too loudly, that this baby didn't just give Justin a family. He gave his father a reason to finally let the past stay exactly where it belongs.